This video is going to be a bit of a hodgepodge because I lost some of the video and I did some work on the other side of the car. I was doing two things. One, accessing the speaker to replace the speaker on both sides, which weren't working. And the other thing I wanted to do was access the retractor mechanism for the seatbelt, because at the time when I started this I couldn't get it to lock no matter how hard I pulled it. It wasn't until a bit later during the process that I understood that the seat belts do not work like modern seat belts. There is a mechanism inside which reacts to deceleration. So when the car decelerates, I have no idea at how fast or on impact, that's when the seatbelt locks. I found a post on the forum which was by Chris R, and that gives a very good explanation of how the retractor mechanism functions. That was on the 12th of January 2012. To gain access to the retractor mechanism, which is inside this cubby here, you need to remove this carpet, which will be glued in place, and remove those two screws there and there. You also need to remove that screw there and that screw there, having first pulled out the rear seat squab. You must also remove this side panel, because this unit here, which needs to come away, also has a lip which fits behind this side panel. So removing those two screws there does mean this panel starts to move. There's some screws inside and a wooden base, plywood base below that. This carpet is glued in place. Managed to pull up the edge of the carpet and that gives access to these two here. Having removed the carpet, you should then remove those two screws. You can slide this wooden plywood cover off. That lets you see where the retractor mechanism is. For me, I could not reach the bolt that holds that retractor mechanism. Because there is that plastic cover in place. You can see the bolt behind it. So this whole unit here has to be removed. Once you've got covers up, pull the webbing right back. You can get a spanner down here and commence undoing it. And it's a 5/8. It's a single bolt attachment. That needs to be checked in a lot of these cars. I understand that can be a very rusty location. It's quite good in this car. This is the retractor mechanism. I've started it by hand, and then holding the tension I'm able to get a 5/8 spanner down in the slot, and I'll continue to put it back. That bolt firmly in place, I can let the retractor mechanism go. Leads up to that bolt, which shows through the underside of the rear wheel well. I've replaced the screws with stainless steel ones, and I'll just glue the carpet back in place. Using one of those trim removal tools, the plastic ones, I've managed to get the carpet back underneath. I don't think it's anything to do with me, but there's a hole that goes through there. I'm not quite sure what's supposed to go there.